I challenged myself to make these 3 awesome DIY games in only 3 days. It was a struggle, but I managed. The first game is called Balance Board. You throw the dice, you put the brick, it falls, game over. The second game is Sling Pocket. This one is the most exciting out of these 3. To win, you sling all of your pucks to the other side, then it's game over. Then this last game, Shot Hooker, is a fun one. You keep hooking the ring. Once the shot glass gets off the board, you take a shot.
Trick the shot.
How's it going there, guys? I hope you're well. I am sure. Welcome to my small workshop. Let's start things off by making the Sling Pocket components. I cut this plywood board to 40 by 60 centimeters and made these strips of pine 4 centimeters wide. We will only need 5 of these strips. I decided to use mitered joints for this game. I used my new crosscut sled, as you can see, but you could use simple butt joints if you want a simpler design. So what I would do, I would cut the mitered joint on one side, then I measure, then I cut again, then I did the same thing for all 4 components. For my middle divider, I wanted it to be inset into the side pieces, so I had to find the center here, as you can see, and then I make those grooves using my crosscut sled again. So I want the groove to be about 1 centimeter tall and a tight fit. Once the grooves are cut out, we can then measure and then go back to the crosscut sled again and cut it to length. Our game is starting to take shape right now. We just need to make a goal hole in the center. And also to make the pucks themselves, we'll use a drill press, as you can see with the footage I'll show right here. Okay, this game is pretty much done now. Let's move on to a more simpler one, the Shot Hooker. We will only be needing 4 pieces of wood for this one. The first cut I'm making is the base of the structure. It's about 12 by 15 centimeters dimensions. I use this 2 by 2 centimeter piece of wood to make the 30 centimeter tall beam that I need. Then I cut up a piece of pine to 30 centimeters tall. Following that, I ripped it up on the table saw to 3 centimeters and 5 centimeters. So this next part is not necessary, but if you're a fancy boy like me, you want to make these chamfers on your wood to make it look more elegant and stand out. Now let's move on to my son's favorite game, Balance Board. It's a really enjoyable game, this one. We'll start things off by ripping 4 centimeter strips of this 60 centimeter pine board. Then we end up cutting up this 4 millimeter plywood sheet to 50 by 50 centimeter dimensions. Now we need to make a 4 millimeter groove at the base of these side walls that we just cut up, where the plywood sheet will fit in, moving the fence ever so slightly till we get a snug fit of this plywood. I didn't really have any specific measurements or dimensions I was going with here. I did this dry fit, as you can see, and started making cuts according to what the board was looking like. The base platform is basically done. Now we need to make the dice that you saw at the beginning for playing this game. I cut up 5 by 5 centimeter squares and glued them up together. And I clamped it up and left it for a few hours. With reference from Pinterest, I used it to try and mark up these holes. I decided to use inlay wood, meaning dowels. I made 8 millimeter dowel holes. So the technique here basically is to apply a little bit of glue, apply pressure while holding the dowel, and then you hit it with the Japanese pull saw or any saw, and you're basically done. And you got a nice cube. I had to channel my inner artist here, freehanding this drawing of the wavy top part of the beam. Then I followed up the cutting it with the jigsaw. And I cut up these side pillars to about 40 centimeters tall. Now we're almost done. Let's go on to making the balance board itself. Using some 4mm plywood again, I used double-sided tape to stick it onto a scrap piece of wood. Then I found the center of this board. I made a hole and applied my router to make a perfect circle. I made 30cm circles, 2 of them. Then I applied some glue in between, sandwiched them together and used the glue bucket itself to apply some pressure, and then I was done. Day 2, everything is on schedule. I'll start things off by sanding everything from 80 grit to 220 grit sandpaper. Then I start gluing and screwing the games together. We'll start off with the Sling Pocket. Could you do me a solid and smash that like button for me? It would really help my channel out a lot. So YouTube then can know that my video is useful and can spread it to more people that want to learn something. A lot of effort goes into making these videos for you. I'm very happy to share and teach what I have learned as well. Thank you for liking the video. Keep watching. I applied these F-clamps to try and tighten those mitered corners of mine. I used some pocket holes to make easy assembly of this wavy beam of mine. I applied a little bit of glue there, about 1 centimeter down from the top, used the F-clamp, and then I put some screws in. Then let's glue up the balance board. So starting with the longer wall pieces, I start with those, I apply them loosely with some glue in between. And then I come with the shorter pieces, try and adjust so that they fit perfectly. Then I put some clamps and apply some screws. So I did this part on day 3, but to make the video make sense, I had to put it in right now. These are the anchor points for the beam. So I made little blocks, made a cutout where I can put the sticks in, and I put some glue, applied it there, then it was done. Let's go on to the shot hooker right now. So this one, I decided to join all of these pieces using dowels. So I tried to find the center on the center beam. I put the 8mm hole, also on the base as well. Then I put the dowel, a small piece of dowel, I think 1 centimeter. Put some glue, did the same thing to the top as well. And then I applied some pressure with some quick clamps. Day 3, it's time to wrap up everything. This was really exciting for me. It was my first time using a butane torch on wood. Have you ever tried using one of these? I highly suggest you try to get yourself one. Just get one of those nozzles, and then these butane gases are those that they use for those small stoves. I really like how the burning makes the wood pop out of some sort, the grains. Then you start seeing the differentiations and so on. It's really pretty. I'm so glad you're making it this far in my video. It means you're enjoying it. Could you please kindly hit the subscribe button so we can continue making woodworking projects together. Holla at me in the comment section. I really want to engage with you and hear what you have to say about these games. So when will you be making them? That's my question. Please, can you make at least 1 or 2 of them? They're really simple, especially this shot hooker one. I think you'll really enjoy them. They are really fun to play with. I used clear varnish to apply on all the parts of these games. So I had to ask my wife to draw for me this artwork on this pocket slinger. We wrote "Sure Winner" because we were born to win. I put some eye hooks on the beam as well as on the balance board itself, and I applied the chain in between. For the shot hooker, I applied some eye hooks to the top and then also made some key hookers on the bottom. And for the slinger, I made holes 5 centimeters from the backboard, and then I applied the string, holding it in with some screws. Here's some gameplay to watch. Here's some other videos of mine that are pretty cool that you can check out.